Minister, you're a member or former member of the armed forces. Hetisha McIntosh, who has been reported in The Guardian, also a member and proudly served her country. She was a member of the Women's Royal Army Corps. She arrived in the UK from Barbados in 1963 on a British passport after her mother was recruited by Enoch Powell to work in the NHS. Her husband lost his job also. They both lost their right to work and were unable to prove their right to work. They were denied British passports or renewal of such in the early 80s. They had to move back to St. Lucia, where the husband is from, and their children, who were born British citizens in this country, were also denied the right to grow up in this country as a result. Hitisha's husband has been denied compensation. He's received 5 nil awards. When will your department finally compensate the McIntosh family? And how do you justify 5 nil awards to a family clearly harmed by your department?
Yeah, it's a fair question, and of course, sorry to hear of those extremely difficult circumstances that you've described there. Of course, it would be, and I know this isn't necessarily what you want to hear right now, but I have to be careful to not comment on individual claims and processes, because I wouldn't want to get in the way of the independent process that these go through. So look, what I'll say is that the whole Windrush travesty is something that us at the Home Office completely accept as a historic wrong, and we're working hard to right that. And of course, you know that 94% of claims have been concluded. And since I came into this role, it's been an absolute pleasure to oversee what we can do more to help victims with compensation. And I've worked extremely closely with the Windrush Commissioner, Reverend Foster, who's doing a fantastic job. He's, of course, been out listening and on his listening tours and feeding back to me, and I continue to take what he says seriously and look to change things to make it better. And of course, we've seen the announcement at the conference that we met at, which has been significant, and that comes into play today. So those
Right.
advance payments
Right.
have been waiting on that money when they're looking to appeal their claims for potentially more. So there's been some really big changes, really positive changes, but of course there's still more learning to do, and I'll continue to work with Reverend Foster to make sure that we make changes that are needed.
Right. So, I mean, they're fighting every day since they've been recognized by the Home Office as victims. They're still having to fight for that compensation, and they shouldn't be fighting. They're in their retirement ages, and they're having to put up these fights every day. But now that you've mentioned that the commissioner and you've mentioned independence, it brings me to my next question.